Hey everybody, Keisha here, and today I am here with my friend
Jennifer Guskin,
and we need your help. We are right now working on advocacy for combating human trafficking, and here's why. So we'll give you a little bit of background of our story and why we're doing what we're doing.
I was adopted as an infant by a couple who sold me throughout my childhood. I have been to Epstein Island and on multiple Lolita Express types of flights as a child. After I went public, Child Protective Services opened a substance-exposed newborn case, even though all tests came back negative, and they told me that if I wouldn't stop posting on social media, I would never see my daughter again. I started to connect how I was adopted as an infant and then sold throughout my childhood, how many other children who have been through the adoption, foster, and CPS pipelines have also been trafficked to Epstein's Ilk.
And as many of you guys know already, based on the work that we do at the CARES Project, I'm an American Indian born in Canada under the Jay Treaty. My father and I were exposed in the improper contagion mitigation for the COVID pandemic in early 2020. As a result of this, I lost everything: a house, cars, corporate assets, jobs. Bank accounts were shut down in Canada, and I fled to the US as an American Indian, fully documented, and was trafficked by rogue agents in ICE and other agents in the government, and forced to live with single American men. I was even imprisoned for 7 months initially, and then trafficked throughout the states. Put on full surveillance tracking and wasn't allowed to leave the city, house, or state without permission, or work without permission. And that happened for many years, and I was on and off the streets because of that, and in and out of shelters. And that is just a small example of what many go through in this trafficking system, be it the family courts or otherwise. So that's why the CARES Project will be going to DC to speak with representatives and do live reporting. We're also going to be in contact with other families who are dealing with human trafficking, and through the CPS courts or through any other means, lesser versions of trafficking, and doing reporting on them live and otherwise. We will also be working on, we ultimately want to shine light on what's going on with the trafficking here in the US. And we also want to meet with various agencies in DC, and we'll be going back and forth for training sessions and other things so that we can be better equipped to help people deal with resolving some of the issues that we're seeing. We will also be putting forth petitions in government to help people get justice, and that's something that we have been working on already so far. We have some petitions that have recently been filed in the state of Colorado, Michigan, Texas, and Arizona, and we will be continuing.
But we can't do this on our own. We will be traveling to events and training courses, as well as DC on a consistent basis. We also have to get acceptable equipment, such as computers, cameras, interview gear, etc. There will be other miscellaneous costs that would also be like gas, food, and rooms if necessary.
So that is why we are working towards combating human trafficking, and that is exactly why we need your help. We cannot do this alone, and most what the CARES Project does is on its own dime. And so we do love and appreciate each and every one of you that support us and all the work that we do. As many of you know, we also live stream on Lindell TV every day. And everything we do, like I said, is on our own dime. So we appreciate all the love and support and all the people who do donate, and we would very much love and appreciate that still. Thank you everybody for your time and considerations, and thank you for all the support, and we will catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully we might see you guys in the future and come across you and maybe be able to do some great things together.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CARES Project podcast. Today we have, again, some more important information. We are going to kind of continue where we left off yesterday. Now we're going to be talking about the red pill and so forth. In case you want to kind of give us a little brief rundown on the red pill and how it's dealing with how it's affecting things today. Is that you saw some stuff today? Hello? Oh,
Yeah, hey y'all, what's good in the proverbial hood? Um, yeah, red pill is getting crazy. It's fueling a lot of problems on both ends rather than actually solving things. People are literally building so much resentment and being so evil. Like, I actually can't understand the level of resentment that these people are carrying and why. But it's not solving anything. Oh,
no.
I don't know, cutting out. Shoot,
Yeah, it
I'm
definitely.
frozen.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay. Just kidding.
It is not. It is not solving anything. It is actually making a lot of things worse. And we're gonna pull up a clip here to start things off. And this is from what's her name? Pearl Davis. You there, Keisha? Oh, it looks like she has some technical difficulties. Of course. Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, this seems to happen quite often, more often than not. Yeah, she there she is. All right, we're gonna look at this clip from Pearl Davis. Okay.
Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce. This literally
Mm-hmm.
kills men.
Yeah, exactly, because men actually benefit from marriage more than women do. And when you look at the statistics of like post-divorce mental health outcomes, men have worse mental health outcomes than women. Women are typically happier after divorce. And so if you want to argue that marriage disproportionately benefits women, like that's not true.
I'd be pretty unhappy too if I was on child support or alimony and I had a hard time seeing my kids.
And you had to support your children. What a hard life.
Well, you understand that it's not taxed. So the problem is they take over 50% of the man's income because it's not, so they have to pay taxes on the stuff they're giving her and take half of his paycheck.
To support his children that he wants to be involved in their lives.
Right, but it wasn't his choice because women leave the majority of the time.
It is his choice to relinquish his parental rights if he wants to.
What I'm saying is many men want to be married and they want to be an involved father and they want to stay with the mother of their children. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can go first, man.
First of all, people don't understand why men are go off harder when they say women are happier after divorce. Well, first of all, the man wasn't happy as much anyway because the man does a bunch of stuff that he hates, but he does it for his family because he loves them and he's trying to do everything he can to help his family. He's probably just as miserable or more miserable than his wife. Actually, he's probably a lot more miserable than his wife because of the things that he has to do to help his family, and because she's not feeling great while he's getting completely destroyed, she just decides, well, I don't feel good and leaves, right? And so it's the idea that they're both the same, and then I mean, Pearl, does not see it from a man's perspective. She has some basic points, but she doesn't get it. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, what you said is correct, and yeah, Pro's not obviously understand circumstances for men. I think that one woman, the reason that she says stuff like that is for like a lot of they take the position of a lot of the women who like go through like abuse, and then that's kind of like discounted by red pill. Like today, I guess red pill men were roasting me because my ex-husband beat me, and used it as a justification, saying that women don't like love and kindness and affection. And like that is where the women are like, okay, well, women are happier after divorce. But even then, that's not true, because women, when they're divorced, they're not happy. They don't have protection. They don't have security. They're alone. They're vulnerable. Everything is harder on them. So it's like both sides are looking at, skewed. They're looking at the extremes for each end of the. That's not the average person's experience. It's not the norm, even if there is a higher number of those things happening. It's not the norm. So yeah, it needs to be just assessed differently, and you can't use your experience to paint everyone with the same stroke, brush stroke or whatever. And that's largely what happens on both sides, which causes problems, because people don't look at things individually, let it determine what it is, which is the problem.
Yeah. And so what what I'm gonna do now here, I'm gonna pull up a clip of the guy here, and he talks about divorce, and you'll see the words that he uses. This is the red pill coach.
I get no satisfaction of having to say this, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's an ugly truth, but it's the way things are today. A nice guy is going to get fucked over. You're a nice guy, you're going to get fucked over if you haven't already. And how are you going to get fucked over? Are you going to marry some attention whore, some damaged girl? And you're going to marry her, and she's going to squeeze out maybe 1 or 2 or 3 kids, right? And then she's going to get it into her head that she's unhappy in her marriage for whatever god-awfully stupid reason, right? And decide to divorce rape you, yeah? And of course, since you're a nice guy, you're going to be unprepared for a divorce rape, because will you have set up, any kind of trust or any kind of foundation to guard your assets against divorce rape? No. Will you have set up a limited liability company so that your employer pays your salary through it rather than directly to you, and therefore you can, separate your income from yourself and be able to, move money around and not get f***ed over when you go to court for the divorce? No. So you're going to lose between half and 3/4 of your salary to this damaged woman, and you're going to work like a animal. Your family will be gone. Your ex-wife is going to start cock-hopping, and your children are going to be severely damaged by the woman that you were dumb enough to marry, all because you didn't have it in you to be the you needed to be. So be the that you need to be. Simple as that. You got to be an and you got to, the second you realize that a girl is damaged, the second you realize that she's a flaky attention whore who's going to make your life miserable, the second you make that realization, no matter how early or how late in the relationship, the second you realize it, you leave her, you dump her instantly. No second guessing, no thinking that it can be fixed. No. You drop her like a hot rock. You drop her and you move on, and you leave her in your rearview mirror, and you don't look back, because that woman will ruin you. MGTOW and all these men's rights movements and all this, all these movements are filled with these nice guys, and a lot of them are really bitter, right? You talk to these guys for a while, and they're nice fellas. For the most part, yeah, great guys. You talk to them for a while, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, he's an easygoing guy, he's this and that, the other. But the second the topic comes to women, and holy shit, man, are they pissed off, man? I mean, the anger, the rage, the hatred comes out of them, pouring out of them, and they're nice guys. And you ask yourself, how did this happen? How did this situation come to pass? They're nice guys, decent guys, upright guys, their heads screwed on straight, very practical, very pragmatic, but not heartless. On the contrary, filled with compassion and love. But these guys, you start talking to them about women, and they are so angry. They are so angry and hateful towards all women. And then you start digging a little bit. Yeah, you start asking a few questions here and there. Oh, and then the ex-wife comes up. The ex-wife or the longtime girlfriend. And the kids. And then you realize that these guys got f***ed over. I mean, they got raped by some whore, some attention whore, or some severely damaged girl who latched on to them precisely because he was a nice guy. Precisely because he had all these good qualities. He was dependable. He was a decent guy. Never struck a woman. You know, he would never even dream of striking a woman. On the contrary, and generous. I mean, man, like the money was, he had an open hand insofar as money is concerned, right? And these women just latched onto him, took advantage of him, around on him. I mean, made his life a living hell.
I can't hear you, but I am so irritated. I'm so irritated listening to this. How weak are you? That man, like, that makes me want to bash my head into the wall. Because how are you going to sit there and be like, oh, when you talk to these guys, they're so nice, they're loving, but they're bitter and they're resentful and they hate all women. And then you talk to them, you get to the root of the problem. It's that one longtime girlfriend, it's that ex-wife who abused them, blah, blah, blah. So men have a justification to be resentful and evil. But women, when they're raped, when they're trafficked, when they're beaten, like how I after me and roasting me for it. Some men said they wish that I actually died and that they hope that women in the future get rocked worse than me. And I was savagely beaten, put in the hospital from him. He was convicted. I had pregnancies that I lost because of how bad he beat me. Men will say that it's still my fault. But when it comes to men in the red pill movement, one girl hurt your feelings when you were 14 years old. And now you have the right to hate the world and act like a bitter atheist. But then women like me have to sit around and maintain my respect, maintain my calmness and my patience and my kindness, and just put all of my feelings aside and just be a perfect individual. I don't even take money from men. I refuse to take anything from men. I don't care how much I like them. I will not take anything from them because I don't want to deal with that crap. Someone like that who will come along and be like, oh, you see, she was some damaged girl and she took everything from me, or she took this from me, and they're going to be so pissed off for giving you one nice thing. They resent anything that they do for you. I will give any of what I want to give to people. I'm a very giving and a very kind person. I like to do that. I don't care. When I walk away from a situation, I'm not going to be resentful that I gave all those things. Why? Because I did it out of the kindness of my heart. Because I thought that's what God wanted me to do, and I was showing love and respect because of my submission to God. These people, these men coming and doing this is absolutely sick and retarded. And you're saying it's because of the woman why your kid is going to be weak. It's because of you why your child is going to be weak. You're a man controlation, and you're blaming everybody for your own problems. This is absolutely insane. I have been human trafficked, and I don't even talk about men like this. I don't even hate all men, and I have literally been human trafficked. I have been raped. I have been beaten. I've been held at gunpoint. I've been beaten within an inch of my life. I've been beaten to the point of losing children, and I don't even hate all men. Listening to men talk like this makes me want to bash my head into the wall. It's so disgusting.
Because he is weak. Weak. That's just weakness. There's no other way for that. But
He's
this
100% weak.
yes, this is problematic, right? With what you're seeing where this is going. We're gonna pull up another clip here because we want to start looking at some other people, and that we're gonna bring up Bonnie Blue, who people have seen doing a lot of extreme stuff, but she talks about he was married at one point, and she's talking a little bit about her husband here, I believe.
And I've got another
Yeah.
question, like, how long did you think about doing it, or was it just like an instant decision? Like, did you dabble with it for a bit?
No, so I'd had 2 years off in Australia, and
2 years off work, yeah?
Yeah, off work. So I'd relocated, had
Yeah.
2 years off, just enjoying myself, living a beach lifestyle.
And how was that supported?
Through savings. So I'd like saved, sold my house, sold everything I'd had in the UK. So I'd had a good amount of savings behind me. And then when it came going back to work, my family and friends were like, God, you've just had the best 2 years of your life. And I was like, even though those 2 years were good, I was like, is that it? Have I had the highlight of my life already? I was like, because I'm not ready to accept my life is now just work, potentially children, and that's it. And so yeah, when it came to coming back, I was on TikTok and I kept seeing people saying you could come online, you do it from home, you can choose your own hours, you can get naked or you can stay fully clothed. And these women was all
So
different
you're
shapes.
seeing it on TikTok, yeah? So like an advertising, are you telling me?
It was an agency at the time saying, look, no matter what, like shape, size.
Welcome everyone.
yeah.
Experience, not experience. Come
100%.
join.
These people were earning anything from like £50 to like hundreds and hundreds of pounds a day. And I was like, well, okay, I could literally sit at home in my bedroom. I could wake up early, go and do a few hours of camming, head to the beach, come back in the evening and do additional camming.
And what about your husband in that?
Yeah, instantly supportive. Because
That to me, right, is
Yeah.
friggin' wild, yeah?
Yeah.
Wild. Like, my partner or any other guy that I've ever been with are probably quite fiercely protective. And
Yeah.
I actually find that in a weird way attractive, right? Because they don't want what
They're like,
everyone...
that's mine.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I don't want what everyone else has got. So
Yeah.
if I turned around and he was like, yeah, I'm not fussed, I'd think, don't you want to claim me? Don't you want to protect me?
Don't you want to?
You're objectifying yourself and he's letting everyone else have a look, is what his crown jewels
Yeah.
are.
I think
Did
the
you not think
difference
less
was-
of him for that?
Definitely not. It was focused on happiness. He used to see me every day, going to work, sitting in rush hour, phoning him on my lunch break, stressing about sales, coming home, being upset because work was really hard. And then he could say, okay, I'm basically going to be putting her back in that environment. If I say to her, no, you need to go and do an office job. So when it was, okay, I could literally go into the bedroom next door, like it was just online,
Right, I'm
in
gonna
my own
stop you
safety.
here. I get his point, yeah?
Yeah.
So he feels like he's walking you off to this office job and you're like, right, it's the office or it's the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
There is this avenue in between. No, like you are incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
And from speaking to you, you're incredibly intelligent. Like I didn't know that you had savings at that young age.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
25.
So you sold your house at how old?
I think it was 21, 22.
I mean, sweet Jesus, and a lot of people that I know are in their 40s don't even have their
Yeah.
house. But it seems to me that your life was at a fork road, but you never saw a path in the middle, that there could have been something in between.
So I think camming's good for quick money. Like
it,
for
yeah?
me, it was you get paid the same day. So, okay.
That's insane. Because as a man, why was your thought not, you know what, I'm gonna work more hours? Why did you say, okay, yeah, let me prostitute my wife so that she can be happy? No, it's so that you don't have to pick up and do more work as a man. What is wrong? This is the world that we're living in today. Men have no value for women whatsoever. They don't care. They don't care about actually providing and taking care of women. They want the respect and they want the authority and the headship of being a man and a husband and a father, but they don't want any of the work. They don't want any of it like this. And they're like, okay, well, yeah, I'm just gonna prostitute my wife instead of getting another job. Or no, why don't you stay at home? You have kids, I'll take care of you. You be a wife, you be a mom, and I will do the financial burden. Men today, a lot of them make me want to vomit. I can't even believe that. I can't believe it because I've heard men say this and it makes me sick. It makes me sick. And then women get pissed off because friends want them to change their clothes so that they don't look too skimpy outside, not realizing that the opposition man to that type of man is the one that's going to be like, yes, go ahead and prostitute yourself to make a few extra dollars for us.
Yeah, that's an unreasonable response.
Exactly. Where's his problem solving skills? Why was that the only two options in his mind?
yeah, see, somebody said that it blamed feminism, not for the actions of her husband. No, sorry, that's not feminism's fault. That's him not having testicles, right? Like he could have felt a different way to help her get happy because of because there's a lot of other follow that goes along with this, right? And he's a man, and he should be able to start looking from cause to effect and looking at the consequences of the actions. But let's listen to her talk a little bit more about what happened with her and her husband and this thing going on.
So I said to him, look, if I don't make any money, that's normal. Like, don't expect
panic.
me to, yeah. And then like the first call, the money tips were just going up, and I was like, oh my God. Like, and before this, I'd only slept with 5 people. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Right, so I've got questions, yeah? I've got so many questions. So you're in the spare room, yeah?
Yeah.
Camming. Is he watching? Is he like, put this there, put that there, that's really good?
No. So we'd gone and brought some dildos together.
Right, okay.
Before, because I didn't even have any. And then I said to him, like, you need to leave the apartment. Like, I just can't. I just felt like either a bit embarrassed and I didn't want him to hear me. Because when you just feel like you don't know what you're doing. So I was like, okay, you just need to leave the apartment.
Like, this is wild to me that anyone would let their wife do that.
Yeah, like
wild.
Before I would have perhaps agreed, whereas now, especially that I've got friends that are in the industry and they now physically sleep with other people, I don't see it like that. I see it as, in a way, they've got such a good connection that their boyfriends don't feel like they need to be keeping them in a cage.
This is my problem, yeah? Is that a relationship, like I get the same, when people have like 3-way relationships, yeah? It's meant to be sacred and you're meant to value each other and uphold each other and protect each other.
Yeah.
By him sharing you, it goes against the intimacy of any relationship. Or like you're saying, you've met people here through your industry that share, essentially. Like that to me is not what we were here to do. We were here to grow together and create this intimate, loving environment. And it sounds to me like he fed you out to the wolves.
Yeah, no, completely like the opposite. Like, he just wanted me to be happy. He saw doing this was making me happy.
Do you reckon he would have let you sleep with someone if you'd have said, I want to be a prostitute? Like, I want to sleep,
I think if that was, because we'd been together such a long time as well, it wasn't a new relationship. So we was overly comfortable with each other. We'd seen each other grow as people. So yeah, he'd been more than comfortable.
Do you think maybe you weren't in love then?
I was definitely in love with him. Like towards the end of the relationship, we was more loving as opposed to deeply in love, but it's got nothing to do with the relationship of why I did this. He didn't force me into it.
Of course, yeah.
And it massively boosted my confidence. So up until that point, I can remember even not wanting to go to the beach. I didn't want to. I just didn't feel comfortable with myself.
But like what? What would have been your internal thought? I'm ugly. I'm fat. I just can't be bothered.
Just, or like, you see all these other people, tiny, really toned, they're like stomachs, and I was just like, I don't look like that. Like, I don't want to go to the beach in a bikini. I feel like I'm going to be looked at, even though you're not. Like, no one actually cares.
No one's judging you the way you're judging you.
I just felt like a little bit disgusted in myself. Didn't feel like overly happy or confident. And then when you're speaking to that amount of people and they're saying, oh, you're beautiful, or they're interested, they're wanting to speak to you, it massively helped my confidence. And I can remember the next day waking up going, okay, let's go to the beach. Like, I want to put a bikini on.
This is what this...
What were you saying?
This is what I was talking about the other day. Women's confidence is being built from the attention from these men because they're like, you know what? I'd rather, and they attached it to the money. This is what I said just the other day, where women are not getting that love and compassion, that mental and emotional connection with men. They're not being captivated by men that way. So they're like, I'm just going to chase money. And when they money, their is like hits of crack. And then it boosts their confidence to go out and do things like that. And it's like, it's crazy because it's like you shouldn't, honestly, in my opinion, you shouldn't feel comfortable going out in a bikini and being half naked in front of a bunch of random people. I think there's something sacred about not showing your body like that in public. But then the fact that she done that, then she's like, now I feel like I can go out and do that in public, because then she's like, now I'll get more attention and hits of crack, and I'll get more from those men that she doesn't she also didn't know how to get the right attention from men. She was not getting the right attention from men, and she didn't know how to acquire it. And the husband that she was with was not doing it, or else she wouldn't be feeling like doing that. No woman who's deeply in love with a man at any stage is going to want to do that to herself. This is a result of negligence.
I'm gonna say so. Yeah, we'll take a short break. We're gonna hear from the Pillow Man, and then we'll come back and discuss this and get another clip up.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to announce the next generation of energy drinks, Rev 7. It has no sugar and no caffeine. Instead, Rev 7 uses Go BHB. Go BHB is one of the body's primary ketones, and it provides the most efficient and clean fuel that your body needs. It also helps you stay energized all day with no crashes. Not only that, it produces 3 times more brain energy than sugar, which helps boost your memory, focus, and mental sharpness. It also helps reduce stress and helps balance your mood. Rev 7 does all that while being the best tasting energy drink ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% today. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7. For a limited time, you get our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. I drink Rev 7 every day and I absolutely love it, and so will you.
All right. So if anybody needs any MyPillow products, go to mypillow.com/Karis or call 800-845-2942. Use the promo code Karis. Get a lot of good stuff. He's got, there's the energy drinks you can try. There's pillows. There's bed sheets. There's bath towels and bath stuff. There's kitchen stuff, beds, all good stuff. They've got slippers, house coats, and all that stuff. So try out some stuff from mypillow.com. Support a good cause. There's other ways to support. If you look in the ticker, there's the Karis Project, the donor box, Give Send Go. You look at the links on Rumble or on Facebook. You will also see all my links for the Karis Project, and there's a bunch of other affiliates where you can get different products to come and support, and there's also some Karis Project merchandise. All right, so kind of circling back to this whole situation, you're seeing that her husband is encouraging her to do things because he doesn't want her to feel bad, right? He wants her to feel good. He doesn't like the way that she wants to go back into work, into that high stress environment, which I'm not saying putting a woman into a high stress environment is a good thing, but his solution was not the best thing for him to do. But now I want you to think about what her husband was doing, and we're going to bring back this clip of Angela White with the experience with her parents.
Mine was household. Like I had family members that cheated and stuff, and I would go to the mistress's home and see stuff. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, I remember the household was sexual. There were women in the house naked, coming in, coming out, and I can't really delineate whether it was like, ooh, this is sexual, I'm into sex, or it's like, ooh, this is what gets my dad's attention, so I should do that. Look like that or act, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like at a very early age. Oops.
At an early age, I was just so fascinated with naked bodies and sex, even if it wasn't like a sexual thing.
Bodies are just so ridiculous.
And it's weird that we're not allowed to see them. Why can't
How
I
can
see
you
it?
let a kid love a moon bounce but not jump on titties? Same. Do you know what I mean?
Soft, bouncy things. I was that weird kid at school in the back of the library reading all the sex books. Like there's a book called Where Did We Come From, which had all the cartoon illustrations of naked people and reproduction and reproductive organs. And that was fascinating to me. And I was, I knew I wasn't supposed to look at it every single day. So I'd always go to the back of the library to stare at these cartoon images. So I've always been fascinated by sex and sexuality and naked bodies.
But was there a religion in your house at all? Because I think maybe the in America, I'll speak for, there's just such a religious shame, like a fabric of shame that underpins everything that I feel like
I was brought up Christian, but it wasn't like a super strict religious household. My mum was really open with me about sex and masturbation.
What does she do?
She's a photographer.
Cool.
Yeah. So it makes sense that I ended
Totally.
up on the other side of the screen. But yeah, she was really open with me. Like, she gave me a copy of the Height Report. Do you know this book? Sheer Height wrote this book in the 70s, and it basically surveyed women on their sexual experiences and on masturbation and how they masturbated. Because she wanted me to, she actually asked me, like, do you know how to masturbate? Are you coming?
At what age?
I can't remember what age. I want to say it was around 14. It was around that age. And so she gave me this book. And in the book, women detail the ways.
Height Report, H-I-T-E, by Sherry Height.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in that
Add
book,
to cart.
yeah, it's a classic text, and women detail the ways that they actually masturbate. And so it was, from reading that book that I got a mirror and looked down at my vulva and figured out, like, where's the clitoris, and learnt how to masturbate.
That first time you put the mirror up, it's a real.
It was good to have studied so many illustrations on what it because
be prepared.
I knew kind of what it was supposed to look like, so it wasn't so scary.
Traumatic.
Yeah. So I was masturbating.
Why does this look like my laundry basket? Was she very involved when you were, like, going through puberty and having your period and stuff?
Yeah. So when so she knew when I had a boyfriend, she knew that this was probably going to be the one that I lost my virginity to. So even before, like, that happened, she was like, if you want to have sex, like, let's talk. I'll give you some condoms, all that kind of stuff. And then when I lost my virginity, she gave me, like, a present, like a losing your virginity present. Yeah, she bought me some lingerie.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, my mom was great.
Turned down for what, Mama White?
She was great.
Damn. And was she married?
Yes.
Or your father was there?
Yeah.
What's his deal?
I mean, what do you mean? What's his deal?
It's like he's just what's up with him?
What's up, Dad?
I guess I'm just like, I don't know.
The one thing that you see here is that the men are not there setting a boundary, right? Because the mother's just doing all this stuff, and she's like, well, what about the dad? What's up? And she's like, what do you mean, what about the dad? Well, he didn't set boundaries. He didn't tell her that there are consequences for her actions. Just like the husband, which is even worse. Well, I mean, they're both bad, but that they're not preparing them for what's going on. And they're setting them up in a wrong direction. And as a husband, why would you encourage your wife to go out and do that? Why would you do that? Knowing full well what people are going to think about that. Right? Like, I mean, I don't even know what to say, but you can sit down and see that you can see a trend here. And I'm not saying that people having sex is bad. Sex in itself is not bad. There needs to be some limits to what you're going to do, and there needs to be context and understanding that certain behaviors are going to have some consequences, whether you like them or not. And is it worthwhile for those consequences? Because just saying don't do that, it's bad, isn't going to stop anybody from doing anything. But if you explain that if you do certain things, that this could cause people harm, even though you like it, it's going to change the way people think and understand things. Because just saying, oh, go ahead, do what you want, that's fine, and just encouraging them into doing this, well, there was no mention of consequences. So how are you properly preparing someone if you're not talking to them about the consequences of their actions? Because you're going to sit down and say, oh, that's great, you're going to do that. You're going to have to sit down and say, well, these are the consequences. This is what happens. This is what happens. Look what happens. So maybe just because you feel good, maybe you don't want to have all these other things to be forced into those situations. where you have to make difficult decisions, right? Because I knew a girl, she got pregnant at like 14, right? That's harsh. That is absolutely harsh. And she kept the baby. Her mother was a heroin addict, right? And so she was having to look after her little brothers and stuff like that, and have a little kid at 14, right? Consequences, right? So I mean, these are things that need to be discussed more. Keisha, thoughts?
No, I agree with what you said.
Yeah, this is kind of a little bit more of I mean, an interesting situation. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna pull up Mr. Red Pill here again, and him talking about um, nice. Actually, no, mm, yeah, let's bring up another Mr. Red Pill here, and we'll see what he talks about. Oh, he talks about nice guys. Uh, where? Oh, yeah, there you go. And yeah, sorry I missed some. Hopefully, I got all the ones thing. This guy's got a real potty mouth.
And that's the thing about nice guys. They put up with their they keep on putting up with their and they come back for seconds, for crying out loud. And see these guys, decent guys, I mean like this Thomas fellow, right? Decent guys. But they get over. They get over and they don't have it in them to be the they don't have it in them to frankly to stick up for themselves. And here's the thing. See, the nice guy tends to think arrogantly that he can take it. He can, he can take it. He can do whatever is necessary to make the relationship work. God damn it. Yes, I'm going to make this relationship work. And what happens is that, see, the woman is like a black hole in terms of his emotions, his money, his time, his attention, everything. She just sucks it all away. And they might be great in the sack. Sure, they're going to have, at least some fringe benefit from a crazy chick, right? But yeah, they'll be good in the sack, but in every other aspect of a guy's life, they're going to be disasters. And the worst part is that the nice guy doesn't want to admit it. Doesn't want to admit it even when the truth of it is staring at him in the face. I mean, Thomas here, at least he was smart enough to realize, the horrible decision he'd made, because in the missive that I'm not going to read, he goes on to describe a little bit of a relationship that he had, which was a disaster, right? The woman just completely took advantage of him until finally the guy sort of like wised up, and left her behind, thank goodness, yeah? But the fact of the matter is, see, most nice guys, when some damaged girl, some attention whore catches on to him, they grab him and they don't let go.
This you can sit down and see the one extreme to the other. One side is saying, well, the husband's like, go ahead, do whatever you want. That whatever makes you happy, I'm good with it. And then you have, on the other hand, Mr. D-Bag, right? Hammer her down, whatever else like that. Every woman is going to be a terrible person.
It really pisses me off, the fact that he's talking about these girls being damaged and how the guys need to run from them and how awful they are. But when the guy is damaged because he's been abused by women, that's okay. A woman will have to put up with that and be okay with that. That's okay, because all women are evil and that's their fault. But when a woman is damaged, like Bonnie Blue, her husband was telling her, oh yeah, go ahead, go do the cam stuff, make the money. Then, yeah, no, it's never the woman's fault. It's not the man's fault that they did something evil. I mean, obviously she chose to do that, but like women who are genuinely abused, like their husbands like just come home on a random Tuesday and beat the hell out of them for no reason. It's just like, what the hell? That's definitely the woman's fault too. So no one should put up with this woman. Nobody should ever be with her. She doesn't deserve any love or kindness. But you, who was with a woman who wanted her to treat you one time when you were 14, or maybe you had a bad marriage experience and you got divorced. Now everyone should put up with you. All women are evil. How does that make sense? Damage is only okay when men are damaged, and women should put up with it. But it's never okay when women are damaged, because it's their fault that they're damaged, but it's not men's fault that they're damaged. Like, bring back punching people in the face. I'm sorry. Like, and this is why I think to some degree, this is why women who come out of situations who were abused and they're like, okay, that they're actually stronger than the men who come out of these situations, because they're reflective enough to be like, you know what, well, maybe if I didn't do this, maybe if I didn't do that, okay, this is what I can do to actually be better. And the men are sitting around here like, oh, this woman that, this woman that, this woman that. Like, no, man, maybe you needed to be punched in the face a few times. Maybe you needed to be like actually like knocked down. Where are these ideas coming from? And I don't want to be like, I'm not saying like, I'm not promoting violence, but I'm just saying like, maybe you needed an actual consequence, because like I don't understand how the men cannot be at fault for anything that bad that happens to them, and people should put up with them. But it's always women's fault when bad things happen to them.
But listen,
what capacity does that give men? That makes them the lesser vessel. It doesn't even make them the head of the home.
well, now let's because I want to get to clip here before we get this segment done. But this is now Bonnie Blue. Listen to what she says. Remember, keep in mind that her husband encouraged her down this path.
You do what suits you. As long as that makes you happy and it's above board, I've started to realise like I prefer not to judge people. Like, yes, I might not go and do that myself.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do and that suits you, like the key thing is happiness. And if that's what makes you happy, who cares if I'm going to sit there and think, oh, that was a bit odd.
Do you think it's unfaithful, these men who are camming to girls while they've got partners?
No. Before, yes, I would have been like, oh my God, cheating is so wrong. Or like, oh my God, like if I remember like catching my ex on porn before, and I'd be like, have a bit of a bag on with him that night.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, like, so for my ex before, if I'd caught him watching pornography, I'd have thought, oh, it's because he prefers that girl. He thinks she's more attractive, or he likes her body, or he doesn't want to sleep with me tonight.
Yeah.
But it's probably that it's come and give me a kiss, probably seeing if I was in the mood. I wasn't. And then instead of like pestering me or, doing something I don't want, they then go and sort of sort themselves out, come back, get tucked into bed, have a cuddle, go to sleep.
So any of these men did you build a relationship with on like the cam?
Yeah, you do start to, because some of them, they speak to you on a regular basis and they'll tell you about their life, either their family, they'll tell you about what they've been up to. So you sort of get to know them. They're like, they do like become friends. Like you do speak to them on a regular basis. I feel like you're unveiling
a whole new world to me, right? Because I've never watched porn.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, we'll get onto it. Myself and my brother-in-law started doing some market research into like what you do, and I was holding onto the table. I was like, this can't be real. And I was like, is this what happens now?
Yeah. Why? What was it?
Oh, it was very graphic, Bonnie. I was like, oh, we'll get into that. It was very messy. And I was like, no, this can't be real because it's making me heave, right? But anyway, you're enjoying yourself. You're over dinner talking about the relationships as such you're building on cam. And then what catapults it to this, like, next step?
Okay, so I'd set up Instagram to help boost traffic towards the camming stuff. And then people that was in my area reached out to say like, oh, hey, like I do OnlyFans. Like, did you want to do a collab? And in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, that's amazing. That will help boost my content.
So for our viewers, that means, would you like to have sex and we'll record it? And we'll share it on our platforms, yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
so you film it. And I never really even crossed my mind to think at this point, okay, I'm going to be having sex with someone else. It was just like a promotion at work. That's what it felt like at the time. I was like, okay, wow, someone's realized I'm in the area. You know, I am, I guess, a sex worker now. Yes, of course. That felt like the natural right step to do.
So you go and film your first one.
Yes.
What was that like? How was your husband about
ended
that?
up
'Cause
being
it's just about gone up a notch, right?
Yes.
One thing, you talking to someone behind cameras, is another thing, someone's being able to see your wife's vagina and your wife naked.
Yeah, so this was actually two other girls and two guys, because this one got organised before that the boy girl one, and turned up. We all got undressed and everyone was in like silence basically, because we was all really new to the industry.
Awkward.
So awkward. And me and the girls, we got on top of the guys, put it in, and just no one was moaning. And in my head I was thinking, is the sound added afterwards? Like, do we do it faster? Do we do it slower? Like, I was like thinking, I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was the most awkward video of my life.
Go ahead.
You know what's interesting? The fact that she said her husband watched porn. And a lot of abusive men watch porn. A lot of regular men as well, but I mean, like, I just find that interesting because in my past relationship, the person also was addicted to watching porn. But she did mention that she thought that it's because he liked her body more, the porn stars versus her, but then maybe realized that she would not be engaging with him sexually or whatever, and then he would go and do whatever he wanted to do. That is something that I feel like is a lack of self-control, because that also is a betrayal, like an emotional and a mental betrayal to women, because it's like, yes, you're supposed to sleep with your husband. I'm not discounting that. It's very clear in the Bible that that's a necessity. I'm just saying that if on the off chance she didn't want to one night and he instantly goes and watches porn, it shows that like he has no feelings or her as an individual. He is self-serving completely, and he's not willing to maybe even try to connect with her emotionally or do the work to connect with her emotionally to get that out of her. Like, a lot of women don't sleep with men, yes, and it traumatized the husband, but a lot of men don't do anything to connect with their wives on emotional, mental level, or else she would not have gone down that road. Because like she said, she started feeling when she started getting the attention from other people. I'm not justifying her behavior. I'm just saying cause and effect is a reality.
Yes, it is. And this is where we have to start beginning to sit down and think about what is going on. And right before we close down this segment, like, I'm going to say a few things, because we're going to need to go in and examine the other side of this, because this is some consequences. And what you're seeing is there are men on both sides of this, because the husband allowed and encouraged things, and then now she said that things that she thought were cheating, when men that are married and have spouses come to her, she doesn't think that that's cheating anymore. This is problematic, because getting involved in other people and saying, well, oh, if they're coming to you money, then they'll go to somebody else. No, you don't have to do that, right? Because then there's somebody else, a wife, a kid, family, and all these other things. They need to get those. They shouldn't have those people coming to them. It's not right. It's going to just create more problems. And then those children who were unintended and so forth. And if that guy, that if he didn't encourage her and said, no, like, let's find a different way, she may not be in that situation. Maybe some of those women or families aren't getting broken up, because how many families are going to be broken up if she's no regard for going after married men or having the people that have partners come and see her and do that, right? That's crazy. That's I mean, it's not going to do very well for other people, right? I'm going to close here with a prayer, and I'll give you your final thoughts here. Yeah. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. We thank you for the hope that you have given us this day. And Lord, I ask of you to get the men and the women to come together, rebuild our families, our churches, our community, our nation, that we can have some sensibility for the children, that they would have some protection from this wickedness that is in this world, is my prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen. Yeah, thanks God for the prayer as always. Yeah. If you guys are watching on Dell TV, you'll see part 2 tomorrow. If you're watching on any other platform, but yeah, y'all are weak. I'm sorry. This needs to stop. There's problem on both ends. It just needs to suck it up and start doing the solution, because it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's actually sickening, like jarring and sickening. Anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. To my dearest cares, and to a medium friend, and we will. Ciao. Hey everybody, Keisha here, and today I am here with my friend
Jennifer Guskin,
and we need your help. We are right now working on advocacy for combating human trafficking, and here's why. So we'll give you a little bit of background of our story and why we're doing what we're doing.
I was adopted as an infant by a couple who sold me throughout my childhood. I have been to Epstein Island and on multiple Lolita Express types of flights as a child. After I went public, Child Protective Services opened a substance exposed newborn case, even though all tests came back negative, and they told me that if I wouldn't stop posting on social media, I would never see my daughter again. I started to connect how I was adopted as an infant and then sold throughout my childhood, how many other children who have been through the adoption, foster, and CPS pipelines have also been trafficked to Epstein's Elk.
And as many of you guys know already, based on the work that we do at the Caris Project, I'm an American Indian born in Canada under the J Treaty. My father and I were exposed in the improper contagion mitigation for the COVID pandemic in early 2020. As a result of this, I lost everything: a house, cars, corporate assets, jobs. Bank accounts were shut down in Canada, and I fled to the US. as an American Indian, fully documented, and was trafficked by rogue agents in ICE and other agents in the government, and forced to live with single American men. I was even imprisoned for 7 months initially, and then trafficked throughout the states. Put on full surveillance tracking and wasn't allowed to leave the city, house, or state without permission, or work without permission. And that happened for many years, and I was on and off the streets because of that, and in and out of shelters. And that is just a small example of what many go through in this trafficking system, be it the family courts or otherwise. So that's why the CARES Project will be going to DC to speak with representatives and do live reporting. We're also going to be in contact with other families who are dealing with human trafficking, and through the CPS courts or through any other means, lesser versions of trafficking, and doing reporting on them live and otherwise. We will also be working on, we ultimately want to shine light on what's going on with the trafficking here in the US. And we also want to meet with various agencies in DC, and we'll be going back and forth for training sessions and other things so that we can be better equipped to help people deal with resolving some of the issues that we're seeing. We will also be putting forth petitions in government to help people get justice, and that's something that we have been working on already so far. We have some petitions that have recently been filed in the state of Colorado, Michigan, Texas, and Arizona, and we will be continuing.
But we can't do this on our own. We will be traveling to events and training courses, as well as DC on a consistent basis. We also have to get acceptable equipment, such as computers, cameras, interview gear, etc. There will be other miscellaneous costs that would also be like gas, food, and rooms if necessary.
So that is why we are working towards combating human trafficking, and that is exactly why we need your help. We cannot do this alone, and most what the CARES Project does is on its own dime. And so we do love and appreciate each and every one of you that support us and all the work that we do. As many of you know, we also live stream on Lindell TV every day. And everything we do, like I said, is on our own dime. So we appreciate all the love and support and all the people who do donate. And we would very much love and appreciate that still. Thank you everybody for your time and considerations. And thank you for all the support. And we will catch you guys in the next one, and hopefully we might see you guys in the future and come across you and maybe be able to do some great things together.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CARES Project podcast. We are going back and talking more about this whole situation with the red pill and this out of control stuff, and how how marriage is a huge, like they're saying it's a big raw deal and everything else like this. And so I'm going to bring up a clip of someone I quite like very much, and we've had her on the podcast before, Elizabeth, and very intelligent woman, and she's married and, has given her life to God and is a Christian, and has had some people that still push back against her. And this was something that when I saw her come and talk about this, I was kind of really irritated because, when you sit down and as Christians, we should be supporting people who come to Jesus regardless of whatever their background was and so forth. And so, do you want to have anything to say before we pull up the clip? Okay, so we'll just listen to this, and here you go.
Good morning, everyone. I got an interesting message this morning, and I felt the need to make something perfectly clear with those who seem to be a little confused. My name is Elizabeth Spraggins. I can't believe I have to do this again. My private messages, the DMs, are a place of business and a place of connection. It is not a personal dating service. I am not a single woman. I am married. These are business pages. And for all of you grown-ass adults acting like it's your personal dating service or like a form of explicit entertainment, and that's all I'm going to say about that, I'm not interested. This is a place of growth, a place of hope, and a place of connection for people who are looking for business and educational answers. And it seems that there are more than a few who believe that I am somehow available to be a part of this other idea that is floating around. So take that shit somewhere else. And for the ones who are demanding my time and attention, I have millions of people trying to contact me worldwide, millions. And the fact that I created these pages to be available on yet one more platform is a testament to the fact that I am trying to reach out. But with the hundreds, if not thousands of messages I get a day, it is totally unreasonable to expect that I answer them all on a daily basis, if not more than daily. Take that shit somewhere else. Because if you've known anything about me for the past many years, or anything about my attitude, it's that if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. And there's the door. Because I'm all about confidence, I'm about structure, I'm about respect. And if you think you're going to come to these pages and demand that I give you attention in a way that's inappropriate, especially for a married woman, you can take that shit somewhere else. I'm Elizabeth Spraggins. If the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, "Hi, Laura," I'm not going to talk to you. Call me Elizabeth Spraggins. Cool. All right. Y'all have a great day.
I guess that one slipped across as well. But the point is that people sit down and say all kinds of nonsense. And when you look at that whole kind of red pill ideology and so forth, and then you see some of what these people are seeing now with this, with the way things have gone off the brakes, then people are starting to go after her. And even people who are Christians, supposed to be Christians, are on top of that, right? That kind of stuff that's nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, right? I read the Bible. Paul murdered people. A lot of Christians are dead because of him. But what happened? God still accepted. When somebody's trying to do something like that, you shouldn't be going down and hammering these people like this. Because if you're saying, oh, what they were doing was wrong, and then now they're going to do something that you say is right, why are you kicking them in the face? Right? And the woman wants to go and honor her marriage and her husband, regardless of what she did before. This is the choice that her and her husband made now. Leave them alone, right? But according to the red pill guys, well, I mean, maybe her husband should have kicked her curb. That's their mentality, right? That's not right. Thoughts, Keisha? Yeah, I'm gonna pull up this one here since we're on the topic of, of Christians, because this woman, she was Carmen. She was. We looked at one of her clips before. She's a girl that was in therapy for 10 years and didn't get anywhere. But anyway, she was at this point she had left pornography. I think she came back. I think she might not now be there or not, but I know she's married now and so forth. So anyway, she goes and talks about what happens with her experience when she went ahead and she had stopped doing the porn for like a year and a half and got hired at the Christian place. So let's just let that one play.
Did you ever have any issues with the religious people out there in Tennessee?
I tried to get my real estate license when I'd been out of porn for a year and a half. I got my real estate license and got fired twice in 3 days.
Because of what you did?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And they said, this was the fun part to me. I didn't do anything vengeful. I thought about it because my feelings were very hurt. Especially because, like, you don't just go get your real estate license, like 6 months of school and, like, you gotta pass a test and do a whole thing. And I spent, like, 10 grand on marketing material and shit, and, like, and I'd been working for, like, a month before they figured it out. And then they tried to act like I was dishonest. I was like, there wasn't a question. It wasn't like, were you ever a hoe? And I lied. I didn't bring it up. Why would I? You wouldn't have hired me. You know what I mean? And it's not illegal. I didn't do anything wrong.
Who sells more houses than a hoe?
That's what I'm saying.
Answer: nobody.
Nobody.
Fannie Mae.
I'm offering all types of, like, compensations to use me as your agent. I'm just kidding. I wasn't even being a hoe. I was just trying to sell houses, and I was great at it, too.
You know how many showings you're going to do?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Everybody loved me, except the company.
Except the people
and it was
who
funny
hired
because
you?
they were saying something about, like, this is a Christian-based company. I was like, I don't think you read the Bible, because I read it.
Yeah, they didn't sell houses there.
No, but also, no, because, like, Jesus loved hoes. And it's not even
Mary
like
Magdalene?
He loved a bunch of hoes. No, but realistically, like,
Jesus for the hoes.
I had been out of porn. At the time, I was like a Christian redemption story, bro. I'm like, everybody wants you to change, but not in their backyard. You know what I mean? I mean, on paper, at least.
That's not bad. Everybody wants you to change, but not in their backyard.
No, but I'm just saying, like, don't make it about religion. If you are uncomfortable with me working
No.
here,
And also,
that's cool.
Again, those people.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be all about love and acceptance and repenting.
Right,
and,
but not.
Hey, I
not,
changed.
Yeah.
Well,
don't do it here.
I can't do it now
Yeah.
because, listen, we still sell houses and we still sell cabins, but not to you.
Yeah, not to the lives to you.
You, man.
Yeah, so that was, it was sad, but
It is sad. It is super sad.
Yeah. Well,
That's
especially
terrible.
because, like, I was, like, really trying really hard to, like, have
No,
a
but you're also
different
fucking qualified. It's,
Right,
it's one of these
right.
jobs where it's not there's no opinion involved. You
Right.
passed the test.
Right.
You're accredited to do
Right.
that position.
Yeah. So this again. Why? I have to ask myself why, because she's like, well, I was trying really hard. Well, why not help her and say, regardless of the situation, because somebody called and said, well, you know who this person is? And they were like, sorry, we can't help you because you were too dirty. Like, she wasn't doing it at work. So what? Right? What? She can't get a job? Right? So where's the incentive to make the right choice? What? I can't hear you.
I said there is none because for red pill, if you make the mistake on purpose or the error in judgment, whatever, intentional, whatever, it's your fault. If something bad happens to you, it's your fault. Any kind of damage or bad situation that happens to you, it's your fault as a female, and you need to take consequences. You can never get redeemed. And then all the bad things that you've done, that you tried to get away from, you should just continue doing, even though they hate it and they say that it's destroying society. So you should just stay in there and do it and destroy life. And then try to be a normal person in society because you're just too disgusting for them to stomach. So you have to be punished doing the same thing, which will still destroy more people, which will make them more disgusted. They're fueling the foolishness that they absolutely hate because they're emotional. And they like this kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me. It's like, okay, well, someone calls and says, oh, do you know who this is? Do you know who I am? This is my company. Get lost. If you can't stomach it, get houses from a different company. Like, why doesn't anyone have any, like, moral courage or ethics? You're a Christian company. This is why I said women at large, with stuff like this is why I have the mentality, and many other women too. I don't care. You seriously, like, this is the logic. I should feel bad for the past that I no longer do, so that you can feel comfortable with me sitting in your presence. Get out of my face, bro. You're not God. God doesn't even do that. I don't know who you think you are, that you can talk to some. The logic of people, the men, the weak, you're such a weak person. And you want me to feel so bad and uncomfortable that I should make you feel comfortable to sit in my presence because you have a problem? Bro, people need consequence. People need to get punched in the face. I'm telling you. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. Those people are not going to heaven. People who do that, I hope you know you're not going to heaven. Jesus doesn't like you. He says he does not like people who do that, because you know what, when it says if you've hurt the least of my brethren, you've done it to me too. He's not just talking about children. He's talking about spiritual children as well. People who are just trying to come, leading them back to a life of sin and damnation. What is wrong with you?
Yes, they're blocking the door for people, and this is wrong. And when they're blocking the door, then they're helping to fuel like this whole red pill ideology. And this or they fuel the other. They fuel both sides, right? And the persons that should be the voice of reason and sanity are the Christians to go in and help, because you've got the feminist side. Because you listen to that girl that Pearl was talking to, and she is. You look at her face, and I'm like, hey, both of you guys ain't making sense. But this is just for clicks, and you guys are both wrong, right? Like,
that's what I was thinking. They're they're literally both.
But then you have people consuming this, and they're looking at this, and it's going to have an effect on them. And like the media saturation with nonsense today is astronomical beyond reason. So I'm gonna play a clip here again, since we're kind of like on this, and we're gonna listen to, because you listened to Elizabeth, and now we're gonna listen to Lisa and talk a little bit about family and being in Italy and so forth, about her grandparents. But a lot of people don't think about this when they look at people in this kind of manner. So let's look.
Do you know where your roots are from in Italy?
I have northern and southern roots. My grandfather on my mom's side is from northern Italy, so I've got that 6'5" grandfather who then came over, Ellis Island, landed in Brooklyn, and then worked for the White House and as well served in the military. He met my grandmother, who's French Canadian, who was working for the Canadian government at the White House. And I have this photo of them. They met sitting and sharing a newspaper every day before work on this bench. And so they had this photo that they gave to me before they passed away. And then on my dad's side, Sicily straight up, straight Sicilians. Nobody's taller than 5 feet. I'm maxing out at 5'1.5". I say 5'2". But the wedding photo for my parents is so great because the table looks like it's tilted. My mom's side of the family all has considerable height. And then it just goes down to my Nana at the end, who was like 4'10", and it's beautiful.
So the people there with like that red pill man would all be like, she's trash. Like all these women they're all trash. They, get rid of them. That's the philosophy. Not looking at everybody's path is different. And as men, we have to look at things. We're supposed to judge situations on a case by case basis. This red pill comes in and has this blanketed thing, and not looking at the factors, and they just want to blame the women. The women are blaming the men, and now we're just having a blame game. But somebody has to make the decision to get off this crazy train, or this crazy cycle that's just going around and around and around and around. And when it comes down to fixing problems, that's men. Like, I mean, yes, women have to deal with their areas. I'm not going to sit down and say that the women are guiltless. Women have capacity in their areas, but they don't have capacity as men being men. They don't. It's nonsense. It's like saying men have capacity of women being women. No, they don't. That's nonsense. Because I don't know the first thing about what the experience of a woman is. I can't even talk about that. So a woman to sit down and say that you understand what the experience of a man is and all the things about men, no, that's rubbish, right? So
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, the red pill men today, they expect women to maintain the same strength or more than them. Whatever podcast, and Andrew, Paleo Christian, whatever, he didn't like something I said, and then he was like, weak, you're weak. And he started laughing. And I just looked at him, I was like, you're calling a woman weak? And you think it's funny? Like, you're laughing about that? Like, are you serious? Like, do you really understand what you just did? Like, in my mind, I'm like, do you really understand what you just did, bro? Like, the men, they show themselves, like, they want so badly the princess. They want to be the king. They want to be pampered and taken care of, and they want the woman to be the big man on the block, flexing and, like, doing mad things. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. If you want that, you can go bend over somewhere else and find a pillow to bite. It's not going to be over here.
I'm sorry. All right. Let's bring back this red pill coach again and hear what he has to say.
And that's the thing about nice guys. They put up with their they keep on putting up with their and they come back for seconds, for crying out loud. And see these guys, decent guys, I mean, like this Thomas fellow, right? Decent guys. But they get over. They get over, and they don't have it in them to be the They don't have it in them to frankly to stick up for themselves. And here's the thing. See, the nice guy tends to think arrogantly that he can take it. He can, he can take it. He can do whatever is necessary to make the relationship work. God damn it. Yes, I'm going to make this relationship work. And what happens is that, see, the woman is like a black hole in terms of his emotions, his money, his time, his attention, everything. She just sucks it all away. And they might be great in the sack. Sure, they're going to have, at least some fringe benefit from a crazy chick, right? But yeah, they'll be good in the sack, but in every other aspect of a guy's life, they're going to be disasters. And the worst part is that the nice guy doesn't want to admit it. Doesn't want to admit it, even when the truth of it is staring at him in the face. I mean, Thomas here, at least he was smart enough to realize, the horrible decision he'd made, because in the missive that I'm not going to read, he goes on to describe a little bit of a relationship that he had, which was a disaster, right? The woman just completely took advantage of him till finally the guy sort of like wised up, and left her behind, thank goodness, yeah? But the fact of the matter is, see, most nice guys, when some damaged girl, some attention whore catches on to him, they grab him and they don't let go.
Okay, but what he said, I think that these people are sex addicts, honestly, because you're telling me, what he said about, they're awful in every single the sex. You're telling me that this woman is like 90% awful, but the 10% is the sex, and you're staying because of that. And you're letting this woman take advantage of you and abuse you because of that. And then you're constantly getting with that exact same woman who is useless and evil to you 100% except for the sex, and you're telling me that the woman is the problem when there's countless women out here not from you at all. They will not, like, my husband left me and I didn't take anything from him. I was like, give me the signature of my freedom. That's it. There's women out here that have integrity, that have morals and principles. There's women who won't, like I said, I won't even take money from a man or any gifts from a man because I don't want any of that nonsense coming back to me and him complaining and being a piece of trash about giving me crumbs. So it's like, with men, that woman, you're going because you want something specific from her, and then you're angry that you can't control her, that one specific thing that you're obsessed with. That's a you problem. That is a you problem. And it's not the same either.
It's born out of weakness. This is weakness. That's what
That's
it
what
is.
I'm saying.
So
that's not at all the same as them damaging themselves in that way is not at all the same as a woman going to a guy that she actually being taken of the same thing, because that man is choosing that circumstance, whereas that woman is being deceived into a circumstance. Those are completely different operations running.
Yes, we've got to run through a couple of things here very quickly, and I got a time, so we're gonna listen to Pearl again.
Where is the female Elon Musk?
So they've actually analyzed the top 500 companies, and female CEOs, companies that are run by female CEOs outperform companies that are run by male CEOs. So as I've said before, if women were not historically stagnated and kept behind and banned from partaking in education in all of these industries, I would argue that our society would be better off. We would be safer, we'd be happier, we'd be more efficient, just based on the last 50 years where we have been able to partake at a higher level. And all of the statistics show that we are more successful than men when we compete with them. And we are still making up for the historical precedent in the past. And we do all of that while enduring discrimination, while enduring doubt, while enduring things like pregnancy and childbearing without maternal or maternity leave that's guaranteed. We're the only developed country in the world that doesn't have mandatory maternity leave. Like, our country is so broken on all of these levels, and we have so many other things that we could be talking about to improve society.
She can't even say that with her chest. She can't even say that with her chest. She knows she's lying. The way that she's hunching over saying this and like she is lying with her chest, and that's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's actually insane, because there's nah, man. I'm sorry. The one thing that she said, the only thing that she said that was correct, that is arguably correct, is what she said about the maternity leave, is that they have that wrong, because women do actually need to have more time with family to be able to raise their children, and that's done intentionally. Everything else she said, man, I'm sorry. I remember when Greenland went on strike for an entire day. Was it Greenland? All the women went on strike for an entire day, and the country's efficiency went up exponentially.
Maybe it was Iceland or something. I'm not sure. But the whole aspect of it is this whole issue with maternity and all that stuff is because women began to drive themselves into male spaces, right?
Yeah.
And started to compete with men. And then they're going to sit down and say that you're going to outperform men at being men. And you're going to continue to outperform men at being men, but not having children and maternity leaves and all these things are hindrances for you to becoming men. Are you what? What? I'm sorry. That I was just like, I'm sorry. That's not true. That is not true. It's just not true. Men are the ones who help to do. Men have to do a lot of things that women can't do in order to drive those positions.
But you know what? Pearl's question, she's equally retarded. Because why are you saying, where are the Elon Musks of the world? Why aren't you saying, where are the Esthers? Where are the Proverbs 31s? Why are you equating a woman's value to, again, knowing that she's actually a feminist? She is not, she doesn't even, that shows either the red pill actually believes in feminism or her herself is a liar and she believes in feminism. Because why are you comparing a woman to a man's capabilities? You should never take a woman and say, where are the female Elon Musks? Because it is impossible to have a female Elon Musk. He is a man. He is a man. He will always be a man. There will never be a woman who is equivalent, who does a sliver of what Elon Musk is doing. If she is doing that, she has an XY chromosome and she probably has testicles. She's a transgender.
Even still, they probably couldn't do that because they would be a lot more unstable. But let's go back to Mr.
Exactly.
Let's go back to Mr. Red Pill here.
And so the issue is, are you such a man? Answer me these questions. Does your woman call you incessantly to know where you are? And yet sometimes she sort of like disappears for a few days, maybe even a week or two. Does the woman like constantly demand that you pay attention to whatever story she's telling you, but when you start telling a story about something important in your life, she sort of like ignores it? Does she sort of like get irritated when you make any kind of demand, even the simplest, most benign request, and she gets like visibly irritated, like you're really imposing on her? Does she not really care about you, but is extremely interested in you hearing every little detail about her life? Is that, does any of this that I'm saying, does this sound remotely like something that's happened to you? If you're an like me, none of that sounds like something that's happened to you, because as soon as it starts to happen, you next her, of course. And so if you're a nice guy, yeah, everything I've said probably rings a bell. Yeah. And so what do you have to do? Well, you have to start to learn to be more like an. That's what you have to do. Yeah. Being a nice guy used to be the way you got a nice girl. Used to be, in the past, to be a nice beta provider who was a decent guy, who never flaked out, who was always dependable, always on time, always just, ready, prepared. That guy, insofar as the man-woman relationship was concerned, that guy used to be worth his weight in gold. And in the professional environment, in the social environment, just about every setting in the world, that guy is still worth his weight in gold. But when it comes to the man-woman thing, no, he's not worth his weight in gold. He's worth his weight in shit, because that's the amount of shit that the poor bastard is going to get from the damaged and attention-whoring women who are going to take advantage of him. Don't be that guy. I mean, I understand you're a nice guy and you want to be a decent guy, upright, moral, all the rest of it. But you have to bring out your inner son of a bitch. Yeah, you got to bring out the inner asshole. Yeah, because that's the only way you're going to survive in the current sexual marketplace. Yeah, you are not going to survive by being a decent guy. And this is horrifying to say. Do you think that I get any kind of satisfaction by saying this? Do you think I think that it's a great thing that now there are so many of these damaged, attention-whoring women out there that a nice guy has to beware, and instead of being a nice guy, he has to be an asshole to protect himself against such women?
I would have to say you seem to enjoy this a little too much.
I was going to say, you're lying. You enjoy this quite a lot. You know what? What he said about, and this is where men don't understand the perception, the mind of women, or the intention. Because when women, she hear every detail about her, but when you say something she's about yourself, she's completely silent. Women bond with each other by sharing information. So if you share something, a woman is naturally going to share something with herself about herself back to you, because that is how women engage with each other and show that they are willing to be friendly and close with one another. You'll often find the girl that's reserved, that doesn't participate in that back and forth of sharing, gets where she's pompous or she thinks she's better than everyone else. That's why she doesn't want to share her personal stuff. Men think that that's being selfish. This is where men have to just communicate and women have to communicate. You have to be like, hey, this is actually how I operate and this is what I expect and this is what I need. Communicate your needs and then she will fulfill that if she cares about you. If not, then you can next her. But men hate women for being women today. Men don't actually like women. They like the personality of women. They don't like the character of women. Everything, every single thing that makes a woman, they hate it. Everything that makes a woman a mother, that helps her to be a capable mother for raising children, they can't stand it. They complain about it nonstop. Like women's inability to maintain long-term hobbies or things like that, or the fact that they take naps. Do you honestly think that if women didn't enjoy taking naps that they would raise babies? They would never raise babies. If women didn't have the mind, hobby to not 5 different children with 5 different personalities that like 5 different completely things. Men don't think. They literally don't think. They want women to be men with a woman body. They're gay. They're literally gay. They don't like women. I'm convinced. Men today don't want women. They want a man. They want a man to take care of them, which is why I said, go find a pillow, bend over somewhere else, because it's not going to be here. And this is why a lot of women today are choosing to literally be gay with their chest, with the emotionality of a woman and the stress of being with a woman, then the problems that a man is going to bring to her. No, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry.
Yes, and he's complaining about these women and what they're damaging to men. Now let's listen to Bonnie Blue. Yes, she's making the choices that she's making, but her husband also helped to encourage her along the way. And so let's listen to what she says here.
And my question, I guess, is, was there not a better way to feel great about yourself? Like for me, it's the gym, right? Not just the aesthetics part, but it's the brain for me. Like I have to go. I like the challenge of it.
Yeah.
I like
It's
feeling the
therapeutic.
endorphins. Yeah,
It's 100%.
the endorphins. And for you chasing people to tell you you're enough, all of this is going to stop at some point.
So yeah,
right?
that was just at the start. When I started, it was purely for money. I'd never even thought it was going to give me confidence or a boost, but within 24 hours, it did. The confidence now isn't, I've got confidence. It doesn't, I get a lot of hate, but I'm still super confident now. So it's got nothing to do with people saying, hey, you're beautiful. I feel, great in myself. I'm happier than ever. So yeah, if I was still chasing that now, okay, yeah, I'd be in the wrong job, but it's not like I started for money. I got the money, but it gave me confidence, which now is completely just reset. Again, I guess it gave me like a reset button, and now it's not what I'm chasing. It's just I have confidence.
So you got 1,000 US Aussie dollars,
yes.
which is what in English?
About £500.
Okay, first day.
Yeah.
Got paid first day. What does the next few weeks look like then?
So for the first 2 weeks, I was camming 12 to 16 hours a day. I was obsessed with it.
Weren't you tired?
Yeah, yes and no, but I've always enjoyed earning money, just like most people. And I was seeing okay, this could actually be life-changing for me. I can wake up when I want. I get to choose when I work. If I want to go to the beach for a few hours, I can. And I was like, okay, wow, could give me so much freedom in my life. And like I said, that's the biggest thing for me. Yes, money gives you sort of, even though people say it doesn't give you happiness, it does, but it's the freedom. That was what I was chasing. And yeah, so the first 2 weeks I was on cam non-stop, and I actually enjoyed it.
Not where is she? Oh, she's just banging in the other room again.
Well, no, because obviously he was off at work. He was travelling in rush hour, coming back. So you're out of the house for a long amount of time. In the evenings, he was either going to rugby or going to the gym, just like a normal relationship would. So he wasn't getting back till late anyway.
Sorry, I see your head shaking there. I mean, yeah.
No, that's crazy. But this also alludes to how strong the need for a woman to have an emotional and a mental connection is, more than a physical connection. Men need respect, and women need. This is why the Bible says for women to respect their husbands and to men love, and it say the reverse. Like, obviously, the reverse is a given, but it makes it very clear that the highest importance is a woman to respect her husband and a man to love, cherish, and esteem his wife. Because women need that. Women not getting that, they're going to go elsewhere and get it. I'm not saying that it's justified to do something wrong. I'm saying there's a cause and effect. And men need to understand that when someone is deprived of something, if you deprive a man of sex for a certain amount of time, he's going to go sleep around with someone else. If you disrespect your husband, he's going to go with someone else. If you go somewhere else where he's respected. Why are men so delusional today to think that they cannot give women their needs and then not have any consequences for it? And then think that they can completely absolve themselves because although she made the decision to do that, the husband's actions helped push her in that direction and fueled it because now she became addicted to something that she was getting because she wasn't getting it somewhere else. And this is a problem. And women, because they're feel-good addicts, like I said, hits of crack, it's not going to stop. Then she said she became obsessed with it instantly within the first 24 hours. She was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
Better get some more hits. I already made $500. And then on top of it, you attach money to it. So it's a reward-based system. And you know what? The men at the top who created this, they understand female nature more than the men who are married to these women, more than the men that are dating these women. They know how to pull out the best and the worst of these women, which is why they created that structure so that women indulging themselves the further they go along while recertifying it within their own mind as they go down the process. While your retarded behind is sitting there thinking, oh, well, she's just a damaged girl. She's just done it herself. No, they're playing on the weaknesses of both people and screwing you both over. And you think that, oh, well, no, this is just it. No, you refusing to understand the reality of the situation doesn't make it different.
Yes, when she got that reward cycle by tying the money to what she was doing, that was bad. Not even
and then on top of it, then it's going to fuel a certain resentment in her because she's going to forgetting what she wants and she's going to resent the men who come along and try to give her things because it's not going to equal what she's getting and it's not going to equal what she's giving herself. And she's going to be like, you don't even understand how to give me what I need, so I'm going to get my enjoyment this way. A woman who's fulfilled emotionally and mentally would never do this. She would never do this. This is why they try. Anyways, this is also why people are so violated that I didn't go into. I'm pissed off because it proves what kind of father I had and what kind of house I came from. You can only do this to a woman who does not have that structure from having that understanding of love and a kindness and discipline and respect. And then on top of it, she got married and her husband did the same filth. Or she was cooked. She was cooked from the beginning.
Yes. They set her up for failure. And
she was 100%.
Yes, and this is where you have you know what I mean? This is where you have some problem. Right? This is very, very problematic what's going on right now. And this has got to stop. Like what these guys are doing, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Right? And I don't even know what to say anymore, right? I don't even know what to say. Oh Lord God. It's I don't know. Yeah. So this is where this red pill ideology has got to go. It's got to stop. It needs to be dealt with in a very bad way. The way that it's going right now, it's not going this is not going to end up very well. It's really not. It really is not. So we're going to go back and we're going to start listening to another clip. We're going to listen to Mr. What is his name? Mr. Mr. Red Pill there, and listen to what he has to say. Hold on. let me get this up here. Where are we? Okay, you're right here, Mr. Red Pill. We are going to go in here, and this is where we end up having this whole situation. So we've had people that have come in here and said different things, but we're going to bring this Mr. Red Pill here so that we can get an idea of what his philosophy is.
And then finally, when they were through with these poor guys, tossed them aside and had the legal system divorce rape them, and lickety-split, they're on their way, and these poor guys are left with nothing, with a ruined life. So of course these guys are angry. Of course they're bitter. You know, the fact of the matter is, it's not surprising that they're bitter. The surprise is that there has been such relatively little reaction to this mistreatment. You see? Yeah. This is what happens to nice guys. Nice guys who wind up being the plaything of these damaged women, of these attention whores. If you're a nice guy, take my word for it. You see one of these women, you run. Okay? Because you can't handle her. Because you don't have enough of the asshole in you to handle her. And like me, yeah, no problem. I can handle them fine. I'll laugh about it, right? And I won't have any compunction about, over some attention whore, some crazy chick, and just dumping her and forgetting about her. Absolutely. But you don't have that. That probably makes you a better man than me. It makes you a better man than me and other assholes like me. It's precisely because you're a decent guy that you are so vulnerable. So go out there with your eyes open, huh? Your eyes open, and don't be so arrogant as to think that you can fix her. Because you can't. You cannot fix her. No matter how hard you work at it, no matter, counseling, this, that, the other, you cannot fix her. Don't be so arrogant and blind to the truth. I hope this helps.
You realize what that man is saying. Pretty much all of these women, none of them can be fixed, including the woman that was married, because she was, in his mind, an attention-seeking whore, right? So Jesus can't help fix
that's what
anybody.
I'm saying, including
right?
the ones that were married.
Right?
And it's like women, so you're telling me that women like her, who married someone that they wouldn't want the nice guy is what she had. The one that told her, yeah, it's okay, go do prostitution. That's the nice guy. Okay? Like, no woman wants, and in reality, no woman is going to be, that's the nice guy, but it's the twofold. He's the nice guy, but he's also the D-bag. No woman wants to be with someone like that. And then on top of, you're telling me that a person like that in that situation, that they're not redeemable. Now she's far gone at this point. I don't know. But I'm talking about in that moment, like back then, that's not the guy. Like you can't.
Well, this is where this comes down to, and this is where I'm going to start laughing at everything that he said, because I dealt with your mother. Your mother, when it was coming down to dealing with you as a kid, and you ended up going into Child and Family Services hand, and all that wickedness happened to you. Well, I dealt with it, right? I didn't give in to what she did, but I dealt with it. Sure, did I try to make things work so you had a kid? Sure. Went off, continued to live life, right? I'm not a nice guy. I'm a kind person. But when I make my mind up, you're going to find out. And then I dealt with your ex-stepmother. She was like the devil. I don't hate women. But when it came down to it and push came to shove and she wanted to come in and tell me that she was going to use your sister and our marriage to prevent me from going to help you, I said to her, do what you need to do. I'm going to go and do this because you're going to find out. Because just because I'm kind to you, that doesn't mean that I'm going to let you get away with doing what you're going to do. You can do what you want and try to destroy me, but I don't care because I'm a man, right? I don't fear what you're going to do to me, right? You want to threaten me? Go ahead. See how far that'll get you. That's what happens, and that's what men need to do. They need to be principled. And regardless of what somebody throws against them, they're going to stand their ground and do what they know is right. You don't need to be a dick about it, but you need to speak by your actions. And that's the one thing that they can't say. You know what? Vulnerability is strength. You have to be vulnerable to go and help a woman and to go and try to build a family. But if that woman tries to go and stab you in the heart, then you need to go ahead and be able to deal with it and continue to move on and do what is right and not be be completely emotional. You think that Jesus came down and didn't have to be vulnerable to go and to come and save us? Of course he did. He had to become a man. He's God. He had to become a man and open himself up to like the risk that he took was incalculable, right? Men, we have to take risks. And sitting down and lumping everybody all together with what these red pill is doing, that's not the case. You look at women like Elizabeth, and you look at women like Lisa Ann that were abused, and then you look at the younger women that were groomed. There's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, there's a huge difference. That's what I said. That's why I said, I don't know, maybe some people do need to be punched in the face. I don't know. Because the ones that were abused, they come out different. They're built different.
They had to be, they tried to break them, but grooming is more effective. This is why those two younger girls like Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue are that way, because they have been groomed to the nth degree. The reason why you're not that way, Keisha, is because I was the one who was counteracting the grooming that they were trying to put on you, because you were groomed in the schools, you're groomed everywhere, the putting the pornography in the hands of children and all these people that are doing these things to groom them. And then you have the men that are coming because they've been groomed, they've been grooming these women and continuing to put that behavior in. And then if they the women get shamed, they go even further. And then you have these guys on the other side that are continuing to destroy everybody. You're seeing it go back and forth. This is where the men need to stand up and they need to shut their mouths and they need to start working like men. That's really it. You need to be calm. You need to be controlled. And when it's time to get things done, then you deal with it. If not, then you're sitting down crying like that, then you ain't no man. Sorry. Suck it up and start dealing with it. Right? And if you don't know how, then you go get help. You don't sit down and cry.
Yeah, literally. Weak. Absolutely weak. I'm sorry, I don't feel any sympathy for the difference. You're right. It's definitely because of you. That's why I said people are really pissed off that I didn't become a prostitute or start doing all this stuff, things that people were trying to push me into. So many people that were trying to force me into that situation, with threat against my life as well. But I refused, and they're upset because it shows the strength of a father and God, and they're angry, which means that there is a solution. There is a solution. Like you said, oh, you can't fix these women, blah, blah, blah. Well, if the men were good fathers and men, they didn't start reacting to women the way that this man is actually encouraging men to be reactive. If they actually did problem solving, yes, you actually can. Because I am living proof that you actually can, because I did not go down those routes and I still have my peace and sanity, because I don't have that resentment. Yeah. It's a crazy way to live. That's a terrible way to live.
And we're running up here on time, so I'm going to close with a prayer. And look, Elizabeth, she found Jesus, and Jesus can fix anybody, right? So
yeah, literally.
Anybody.
And same with Lisa Ann, Elizabeth and Lisa Ann.
If you think that God can't change anybody, then you need to then throw away your Bible, because I look through the Bible and I see some of the worst men and women that God has changed their lives. So people need to start sitting down and thinking about how they're doing because this nonsense needs to stop. Anyway, I'm going to close with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you this day. I thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. I thank you for the hope you have given us this day. Open our hearts and minds to your will and help the men to stand up with the women and lead their families, that the men would humble themselves before God and that we would all be an example in yielding ourselves to you, and that we would lead the women and work with them to rebuild our families, our churches, our community, our nation. And so that we would have some safety for the children and some protection from this wickedness that is going on right now is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Dad, for the prayer as always. Yeah, guys, read your Bible, man. Read your Bible, because the way that people are looking at things right now is completely unrealistic, and God can fix people. God can change people. Obviously, there has to be a willingness, but problem solving. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of ridiculous at this point, and I think it's like kind of drawn out. But grow up, man. Just grow up and do what you need to do, because this level of resentment is crazy. To have yourself in that frame of mind is crazy. To hate people that much, it's like not everyone is evil. You still have to believe in good things in life, and God can show you that. God can give that to you. Pray. I don't know, but my dad said it, so double down on what he said. Anyways, guys, thanks for your time and considerations today. We'll catch you guys in the next one. And to my dearest Karis, until we meet again, my friend, and we will. Ciao.